It started in 1902. Two women, Blanche Hart and Ida Koppel, saw immigrant women and children who needed something the city couldn't give them: open sky, nature, room to breathe. What they built was the Fresh Air Society, now known as Tamarack Camps. From Detroit to Ontario to Brighton, and in 1950 to Ortonville, and eventually to Michigan's Upper Peninsula and Canada, around the Western United States, Alaska, and Israel. From the very first summer, they made one thing clear: this life-changing Jewish experience, this camp, was for every child and welcomed every family, respectful of their ability to pay. What people discover here stays with them forever.
I started working at Tamarack when I was 18 years old. I was the guy who directed and produced the plays. And boy, did I love that experience. It was helping me learn how to be a producer and director. It was helping those kids learn how to work together as a group, how to take on a big challenge. Those are the best summers of my life.
Some people come to Tamarack and never really leave. Dorothy and Arnie Collins have been coming for 60 years. As staff, as parents, as grandparents, Arnie helped open Camp Kennedy. He staffed the early travel trips, and along the way, he married Dorothy. As camp evolved, adding more programs like family camps and Bubby's 80 weekends, Dorothy and Arnie enjoyed it all. Because Tamarack isn't only for kids.
60 years ago, we honeymooned on the eastern and the western trip, and it was quite a honeymoon.
Not only was it a wonderful honeymoon, but it was a beginning of an understanding and a life that we've had together that has been nothing but pleasure. I don't have to worry about who I am, who's around me, and what's happening in the outside world. I can just be at Tamarack.
I think it's more important today than it was 60 years ago.
When camp opens its doors, it opens its doors.
Tamarack has always believed that every person who comes to camp can be their best self here. All are welcome and all are seen. And for many, this place gives them something they can't find anywhere else.
When I think of Josh Levinson, I smile. I instantly smile because he spread happiness everywhere he went. What we gave Josh, he gave us tenfold in return. Josh truly represented what it's like to be authentically yourself. Camp is for everyone.
There's a special feeling of being Jewish and not having to explain it, just living it. For 5 generations of campers, Tamarack has been a place to be joyfully Jewish.
One of the things that's so special about Tamarack is being together as Jews in a large community for a long period of time. To feel Jewish pride, to feel Jewish culture, to feel Jewish history. We don't have to ask ourselves, what does someone think about me being Jewish?
In 2002, exactly 100 years after first providing Jewish camping for our community, the Second Intifada swept fear across Israel. We opened our arms and widened our tent, a decision that would change camp forever. That summer, we brought 350 Israeli teens to Tamarack. Once again, for open sky, nature, room to breathe, and for safety. The Israeli Camper Program was born. For over 2 decades, this program has created deep connections. Then, in the summer of 2024, in addition to the campers from Detroit's Partnership region, we also brought 18 teenagers from Kibbutz Be'eri to camp. All had lost loved ones. Some lost parents. One had been held captive herself. Some still had family in Gaza waiting to come home. For 10 months, they had been displaced. Then they came to Tamarack, and for the first time in almost a year, they were just teenagers.
The first week was very, very tough. They just wanted to come back home. They really yelled, "We want to go home now." Everything was too much. It was too much good. It was too much green. It was too much happy. Slowly, slowly, the heart started to open. I think that for the first time in the past 10 months, they feel safety, they feel hope.
Everything was so different from the life that I had. I feel like I was a normal 15 years old suddenly and not like it was in Israel.
Tamarack has always given children a chance to breathe. As an archivist in this community, I've spent years going through Tamarack's history. The photographs, the letters, the film reels. I was a camper here. I was a staff member and a supervisor. I thought I knew every part to this story. It wasn't until years later, my mother told me something I had never known, that I had been a scholarship camper. That without support from this community, from people just like you, I wouldn't have been here. Neither would my husband, Jacob. We met as staff, but before that, we were just two kids among thousands throughout history who got to come to camp because someone decided we were worth it. I had no idea, and I think that's exactly the point.
My own brother was in Specialty Village. He was there on scholarship. My mother would have never been able to afford to send my brother to camp. But when you're at Tamarack, it doesn't matter because we are all equal.
Well, I look at camp as a building block, and everybody that comes along is a part of that building block. And I just hope that as camp grows, that building block continues. In 125 more years, we'll have people that say, I'm part of that block, I'm ready to build another.